Right now, we're continuing on with Chamber Chat. Why on earth am I so blessed to have our next guest, a frequent visitor to the show and to the radio station, and we've managed to take a couple of seconds away from his busy day. Shon Duty is with us. Good morning, Shon.
Good morning. How you doing today?
I'm very good, thanks for asking. Welcome back to the microphones. A couple of different things happened. Now, on Thursday night, it was Studio 54 as a Waynesboro celebration, and the person of the year, and it escapes me the name of it, but you won this award last year, I think.
Last year, yeah, the Chamber Champion Award.
Chamber Champion. And
I had to relinquish my gloves to somebody else this year.
Certainly a great event, and Jackie is not with us today because she's busy recovering from the event. But
right.
But I think of all the things I remember reading the script for you, and all the things that came into being when it comes to being a chamber champion, Greater Waynesboro Chamber of Commerce. And you've had a great run here, and it continues to run, of managing people, managing businesses, getting involved with sales process. And I kind of wanted to pick your ear a little bit about sales.
Sure.
As you think about Chamber Chat, it's a whole bunch of business owners or business managers thinking, how am I going to get more sales?
Sales is my lifeblood.
Sales. So tell me a little bit about some of the Shon philosophy when it comes to sales and you training people for sales. What goes into a great salesperson?
I would tell salespeople there's a few things that you cannot train.
Okay.
I can't train a salesperson for probably the biggest thing, and that is people buy from people that they like.
Amen.
That's the first thing.
Yeah.
First and foremost, you have to be likable.
Right. And
you have to be friendly and outgoing. And if you can't do that, then probably not the right position. Sales guy, if knocking on doors, if making phone calls, if rejection is something that you don't like to hear no, this is a tough gig,
Yeah.
And so people buy from people they like. That's the first thing. If you're a likable guy, a charismatic guy or gal, if you're energetic, passionate about what you're selling, if you believe in what you're doing and what you're selling, 9/10 of the battle is already over.
They've got a lot of folks out there that can pull off being likable and being nice, and then there's the X factor, which I call a little genuine. A lot of genuine.
Yeah.
You can smell it when someone's not genuine, can't you?
Man.
How do you know it? How do
when
you smell it?
When I encounter somebody like that this my term, and of course because this is where I come from. My background, I started out in 1989 as a car salesman.
Yeah.
And when I encounter somebody and I walk away going, ugh, that greasy used car sales guy.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be a car guy. And I'm not knocking car guys because I am a car guy.
Yeah.
I've been a car guy my whole entire life. People ask me, even today, my wife gets so mad that the people say, what do you do? I'm a car sales guy. And she's like, yeah, you're a general manager. You're a finance director. You're, all these other positions that I held. And I'm like, this is still what we do. And even now in my software company, we are at the end of the life for the cars. I'm still in the car business.
Sure.
But there are guys that have this disingenuous. Here's really what it boils down to. A con man takes advantage of people, and a sales professional helps people, gives them the knowledge to make the right decisions. I'm not trying to force anybody to make a decision for me.
Sure.
I'm trying to give them the right tools to make the right choices, and a con man doesn't care about the right choices and doesn't care about the tools and is only looking to manipulate. And that's what it comes down to. When you feel like somebody's like greasing you, I've ran into mortgage people like this. I've ran into real estate people.
Yeah.
You run into them in all walks,
Sure.
and you just kind of all of a sudden get this feeling. And no, that doesn't make a sales professional. That doesn't make a consultant. That doesn't make an executive that helps people make the right choices.
What do you think turns, if you've got that person who goes, yeah, I'm likable, I got a good smile, I call people back, I'm a nice person, but then at some point it turns, the genuineness that you use to get the job as a salesperson turns into, is it greed? Is it sales goals? Is it a obnoxious manager? What do you think makes people cross over from, you started off as a sales guy for a car dealership, used car salesperson, and then all of a sudden you went from being that nice guy to maybe it is greed. I think greed is the.
I think that there's times when money plays into and a person's need to make money or meet the deadlines or quotas.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes the pressure from above can also impact that. But I tell you, the biggest thing that can keep you away from that, becoming that, is belief in what you're doing.
Right.
If you believe that what the product, whatever it is that you're selling, and if you don't, get out. But if you believe that what you're selling meets the need that that person has and satisfies that need and is a quality, safe product that's gonna help them, and you're passionate about it, then the money will follow that. Money will come just because you believe in it and because you're passionate about it and because you know my software. I absolutely know that my software is the best software in our industry for many reasons, and I can name every one of those reasons. And so I can give my sales guys, and I can give a customer that I'm talking to, our prospective customer, I can give them all the reasons as to why this is the right choice for them. And it's not financially related. In fact, most of the time, my software is going to cost them more than the other guys.
Right.
And so it's not financially related, although that's an important piece, and that piece is going to come to the table, and we're going to have to discuss that. But it's not about that. It's about meeting that need and knowing that I have the right thing for that customer.
And tell me about the sales team. You know, when it comes to training someone, you're training on likable, nice, be genuine. But that's the sales trainer portion of you. The other side of you is the I'm a business owner. I've got numbers I got to hit. We've got financials that we're looking at. And how do you I hear you. I love my software. I believe in my software. Right to the finish line. Got it. But then, at the dark hour of the night as a business owner going, I need to, am I going to roll on price? Am I going to do a dirty deal? You're clearly not going to do that, but how do you get the team to go, look, we're going to get there.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay. Stick with it.
And making sure that they understand our core philosophies, our
Right.
core, there's certain things that we don't ever do, and there's certain things that we always do. And when they understand that core belief system that we have as a company, that we always under-promise and over-deliver. When they start to understand that piece of it and can rely on some rules that we put in place, this is how we do things. We don't ever shortchange the customer in any area. We don't try to push a fast one through. It doesn't matter if somebody's at my door saying, "Hey, I'm writing a check right now. How much do you want it for?" Well, hold up. We have this process that we've got to go through.
Sure.
I got to make sure that you know what you're writing a check for, and you got to know what you can expect from us and what we can expect from you when you write this check.
Let's go to the other side of the equation, the customer. You talk about truthfulness and honesty and being genuine, likable, and those things. But then you've got customers who can see it, and I'm guilty of this myself. Sometimes I get taken advantage of, and it's rare, but I want to be so genuine that I'm not looking at this closely going, I'm getting suckered here myself. I'm on the receiving end of this, and I don't like it. But how are you training some of the salespeople in your world, or have you seen in your world going, be genuine, be nice, be likable, but don't get taken advantage of?
Again, it's got to be a hard set of rules that are in place before that situation ever happens. We always do these things for the customer.
Right.
And even if somebody takes advantage of me, and it happens, I think it happens to all of us, but it definitely has happened to me multiple times. And when that person does that, that's frustrating, painful, it hurts, and doesn't make you want to do the right thing. But guess what? We always do these things for the customer, whatever those things are, whatever those rules are, and whatever those core beliefs are for that company and for that product. That's the key. If those things are in place, guess what? Those difficult decisions when somebody's taking advantage of you or when somebody's wanting to do the wrong thing, if we follow those every single time. It removes that knee-jerk impulse. You know what? You're gonna do that? I'll show you what we can do back.
Right. It removes it. Okay. Good answer. I must remember that it removes it. So we're hanging out with Shon Duty here this morning, talking a little bit of sales, talking a little bit of management. It's part of Chamber Chat. When we come back, I want to talk to you about the customer relationship management systems and software and tools that I'm not sure if you use a CRM, but I'd like to know a little bit about how you use it and what takeaways you can share with the folks that are listening right now. Chamber Chat is the show. It's a Saturday morning here in our neck of the woods. Glad you're tuned in on News Talk 103.7 FM. More Chamber Chat coming right up. On News Talk 103.7 FM, it is Chamber Chat. We're lucky enough to have on our second part of the hour, Shon Duty. Shon, for people who don't know your voice, and you've been on the radio station a great deal, love you every time you come on. You're behind the driving force behind Project Big Love, and it's not, when I say it's done for the season, it's never done.
Never.
So with Project Big Love, and if you want to, can people donate right now?
Absolutely, right on the website,
projectbiglove.org.
Yes.
Okay. So, and if you're not familiar with Project Big Love, go to the website and get familiar with it.
Yes.
You'll love it for you, for your company, for your family, or for your church. What else, so that people have a little bit of a background? Share with everybody what you do in your world in Waynesboro.
Besides Project Big Love?
Besides Project Big Love.
So I have a software company. Our software company is for the scrap and recycling industry, auto salvage industry, and we help those companies to purchase the materials that they purchase. And many states have laws that govern compliance, what they have to do and how they have to do it. Our software has a compliance engine that we've built that helps them know every single transaction if they're compliant. And then from there, it moves that material they bought into inventory, and they can sell their material, do invoices and bills of lading and contracts, and create packages and barcode labels for their inventory. And
I've seen this stuff in action here. So if I come into a recycling center with a couple of rims.
Yeah.
Right. It's gonna. I come in. So I come in with these rims. It takes a little snapshot of your software.
It does.
You take a snapshot of me. You get my driver's license
and a snapshot of the material that we're buying.
Right. It weighs it.
Yeah.
And it delivers this is how much it's worth. This is the weight. And
prices it,
and
it can even do special price lists for special customers. But then it prices it and gives them a receipt that they can then either take to the cashier to get paid or take to an ATM to get paid. So we integrate a lot of hardware. You mentioned scales. We integrate scales. We integrate cameras. We integrate fingerprints, signature pads, driver's license scanners, ATMs. We integrate to QuickBooks. We integrate to a lot of governmental reporting agencies. All of those are part of that compliance piece.
How many customers do you have? We're worldwide.
Worldwide,
right?
Yeah.
I mean,
300
right out of Waynesboro. That's just so cool to think that.
Yeah.
I know Shon Duty, who's got a company worldwide.
International software entrepreneur.
So hot. So how many customers do you have?
We've got 350 clients. So that's companies using the software, thousands of users using the software every single day.
So great. So as you're listening to the program here, and Shon and I are talking a little bit about sales, we're talking about management, we're talking about businesses, you can be pretty much rest assured that Shon knows a little bit about everything, just enough to make you dangerous.
Right.
So just like me. Let's talk about CRMs, customer relationship management systems. I got my own horror stories about those. I want you to share your thoughts about a CRM, because every manager, every owner loves these things. They're great. A great tool, but the problem I had was getting it started and getting it moving.
It's too complicated.
Help me, brother.
Yeah, it's too complicated. That's we had Salesforce for a while as a CRM.
So many dashboards on that thing, right?
Tons and tons. So we actually moved from Salesforce to a new CRM. I saw a CRM that was out there that automated a ton of processes. And once a new customer went in, you could actually put them into different categories, and then it just automated follow-up. It automated a ton of stuff, emails, and not only that, but then the statistics coming back to you as to who opened the email and if they clicked on the link and how many times they visited, that kind of. So tons and tons of information to come back and show you who's doing what with the content that you're sending out. And not only could it do emails, but it could do voice broadcasts, it could do fax broadcasts, and track all of that, keep track of all the customer information and everything. But 6 months went by of me paying monthly for this new CRM, and nothing happened. We didn't do anything. I mean, zero.
Right.
I even had an initial setup of training for 2 of my employees that were supposed to head this up. Nothing happened.
Was it their fault, your fault, or everybody's fault?
I'm a firm believer that it all rests right here on my shoulders,
All right.
always. And the truth of the matter is, I got an email from Infusionsoft. That's the company that I chose to go with because of their automation processes, and it's beautiful. And they sent an email to me and said, "Hey, listen, we see you're not using the software that much, and we've got these training classes that are coming up in Orlando. There's a 2-day one that's kind of a basic entry level, and then there's a 2-day one that takes you from that to more advanced. Pricey, but I went. I said, I'm going to make this investment, and I'm either going to make this happen on my own and then train my own guys and hold them accountable to what I know can happen, or I'm going to stop paying for the software. Sure. One of the two. And I went to the training class and was blown away. Had no idea the strength and the power that what this thing could actually do for me. And I'm not fully harnessing it yet, but I'm doing a ton of stuff that I wasn't doing before. In fact, they taught me a new principle that I'll apply in every area of business that I do, and that is that what's the phrase? The phrase was version 1 is better than version none.
Okay.
When you have version none, you're doing absolutely nothing. Sure. It doesn't matter if version 1 is horrible. It's better than nothing.
Get it moving.
Get it moving. And so that was that mantra, the whole week that I was there in training was, just do it. It doesn't matter if it's perfect. It doesn't matter if it's exactly like you could do it if you had years of training. Just make version 1 and then go back and tweak it and make version 2.
Right.
But version 1's better than none.
Adjust on the fly.
Yeah.
So with this Infusion software, the CRM, Customer Relationship Management System software, is it for everybody? It's like Salesforce you can apply to a lot of different industries. We tried it in radio. And as I went beyond, there's radio-specific CRM type software, which was really good. I had a sales team of 20 people that 1 or 2 liked it. The rest of them were, oh, you're micromanaging us. Oh, we got to, the usual things out of Type A salespeople who want nothing to do with reports.
Right.
And then a management team that never got behind it.
Here's the piece on sales. Always, if you do not inspect what you expect,
and then
I don't care how good the salesperson is.
And then holding them accountable.
Accountable is and if we don't inspect what we expect and hold them accountable to that, that's the key. And I promise you, and I've done this in every industry I've been in, I can take a salesperson who's mediocre, give them a system and a process that's proven successful, and hold them accountable to it, and they'll be a superstar. Guaranteed. So
now you're using the CRM software.
Yes.
And game changer or not?
It has already been a game changer. It's not the game changer that it will be in version 2 and 3 and 4. I just came back from the training. I'm in version 1, maybe version 1.5. I'm learning how it can work and what it can do, and I'll probably even go to some additional training, the next step. But that's what I would say. I don't care who's. And yes, by the way, you asked me, does it apply to other industries?
Yeah.
Infusionsoft is, the people that were in the training with me were attorneys' offices, dentists' offices,
there you go.
Real estate guys, everybody. There was like 30 people in the training class. So they were from every single industry. It applies to everybody. And I started to say as we started this portion of the segment, training. Invest in it. If you're going to get a CRM and you think it's just going to answer every single thing that you've got,
no way.
If you don't learn it, it's going to do nothing. In fact, it's going to sit there, cost you money, and absolutely produce zero. But if you invest in yourself to learn what it is, and then train your people, and expect from them and hold them accountable to it.
one of the bigger complaints I also heard about this stuff is it's taking up my day from making sales calls, or you want reports, and then you want us to be in meetings, and then you want us to manage this software. I mean, this software, this radio-specific software, was so good. You had it on your smartphone. You could be in front of a particular business, look it up, and find out if some other salesperson was calling on it. It was moment-to-moment, real-time.
Yeah.
And all I got was, I don't like it. It's too much. It's too cumbersome. I couldn't believe the pushback, and I'm of your in the same category. If you just do this, you're going to make money. It will help you.
Yeah.
But I could not move the needle.
And I think when salespeople start to realize that software is supposed to make life easier, not harder.
Right.
So if a software truly is making life more cumbersome and harder, then either one, you don't know what you're doing, or two, you got the wrong software.
And then the ones that bitch about it are the ones that you probably got a problem right there anyway, because
they don't want to be accountable.
They don't want to be accountable. And why don't you want to be accountable? And then what are your numbers saying here?
Yeah.
So it's a fascinating world that I'm caught on both sides.
I'll tell you something. If you go to the big deal software, you go to the big deal sales companies. I'm talking Fortune 500 sales companies. Every one of them has it.
Sure.
And every single one of those salespeople knows that if they're going to work at that level, they have to do it. So the guys that don't want to do it on the lower, that's just I don't want to be held accountable. I don't want you to micromanage me. I don't want because I want to do things the way I've always done things, and change is painful.
Right. This was a $10 to $20 million company a year, and I said to the owner, they said, listen, if you're not, you're listening to salespeople who are below, you know what? They're BSing you, and if you don't
smoke,
I know it. I could not. It was too old school, and I could never move the needle. So you got a couple of things. If you're thinking about CRM software, and we're almost out of time. I tell you, I could take up the whole darn hour with you. But if you're thinking about CRM software, that's the stuff that's going to help you get to that next level. And we are out of time. Darn it. Love you coming in. Thanks for sharing the CRM story and your sales story as well. Shon Duty, projectbiglove.org. He'd like you to make a donation. And have a great weekend, would you?
Thanks, you too.
We're out of here, making room for the news, and then it is the Law Hour with your phone calls live, 877-709-1037. Dial in, and let's get some of those legal problems that you may or may not have in your world. Let's get them solved. It's coming up next.